Still, it is better than having them think that we have tons of leads and, well, we actually don't. Anyway, I think we should go talk to him.
I'm not sure what you're hoping to accomplish by talking to him, but alright.
We'll see. We're well armed. It's, we're not trivial to take down the fight.
No.
I suppose we'll go to Arnold's establishment.
All right. If there is no dissent, then the likes of Dwohurim, Aurelia, Leon, and Geráck head for the docks.
No dissent, but a bit of muttering, for sure.
More specifically, they head for the neighborhood of Little Drakenhall.
Well, Leon would of course not walk with us because we don't want to taint his reputation, right?
What do you mean? They know we're friends with him.
That's true.
Well,
no.
Like, those people don't really give a damn. That's just the weird bar thing.
They let Tempus into their bar.
Like, yeah, at this point, we don't really care about that, do we? Like,
I don't know.
Things are gonna go down soon.
Well, it's sort of up to Leon, I guess.
We're badass adventurers.
Yeah, Dark didn't officially choose a tavern. Like, Tempus ended up going in on his own, and Dark's character kind of stayed outside.
I'm still in neutral ground here, so...
Yeah.
God.
There is no neutral ground in Little Dragonhall.
You must choose now, or we will have to get dressed.
You should open your own tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The third
clearly.
That'll show them.
The alternative.
But you know the problem, Sheep? I don't have Thomas around for profession barkeep.
Oh, that's true.
All his skills would be the most useful things ever. But he had to go fight things.
He had to go to the Iron Sea. Alright. It is early afternoon by the time you arrive in Little Drakenhall, a bustling neighborhood of, like, maybe 200, 300 people. But certainly, of course, it does have quite a few people, as there are a number of explorers and adventurers and traders who like to come to the neighborhood to sample the bits of Drakenhall that they left behind. Weaving your way through the streets, you do attract some attention, courtesy of the fact that, well, you're you, and appear as you do. But not overly much. After all, adventurers and travelers do come through here a lot, so even the Dwarf Paladin clanking around in full plate mail, not that big of a deal. Besides, everyone needs some comforts of their own, as they approach the long, one-story building of stone, known as the Parlor of Gilded Comforts. There are 2 double doors that you can use to make your way in. You don't see anyone, at least at initial glance, like standing on the roof or like looking around outside or like peering at you through like a 3rd-story window with future tech binoculars. And there's no spelljammer descending from the heavens to carpet bomb you. There it is. Not really a sign to advertise it. There is a little bit, though. Simply stating, that it is the Parlor of Gilded Comforts. No ostentatiousness, no neon flashiness. It's a rather private and cozy building. There are no windows. As I noted whenever you last visited the building.
The room at this point just assumes that whoever our enemies are know where we are at all times. Because, especially in this part of the city, they will. In some way. Not sure how, but they've had a long time to figure out how to do it. It's what the Black Fang does, after all. I suppose we go and enter the place.
Okay. There is a Parlor of Gilded Comforts map. I will go ahead and make that player visible so that you can transfer yourselves towards it.
Alright.
Stepping through the bland stone doors and opening them, for they are not unlocked, will take as long as it takes for your individual characters to load the map.
Man, these damn doors.
Yeah, that's one heavy door.
I'll actually be right back for like half a minute.
Alright, I'll wait for a description then until Manaki returns.
40 feet gate we have to push open.
Maybe you guys are just debating on the outside. Greg's like, I don't want to go into there.
Yeah, perhaps. Turn on the light. Oh.
My new jazz playthrough is about done, Goger.
What? Oh yeah.
Yeah, my Daggerfall playthrough.
All right.
I just have
I
I just have the Mantella left.
Oh, I see.
I could do it without a levitation item. There are like statues and chains around that mean that you don't have to cast levitation. You can just activate the items, assuming you know where the item is.
Yeah, and assuming you know where you need to go, and don't make any mistakes while doing so.
Yes, don't make mistakes. That's kind of a big deal, huh?
Yeah. Otherwise, you just have to reload a bunch of times. And
Well, I mean, you can cast Recall and anchor yourself to a point inside the dungeon. So if you fuck up, you can just teleport back to the anchor you make in the dungeon.
but sure. But that's using magic.
Well, I have an item, and I know you're like, at that point, why don't you just fucking use the levitation
Yeah,
magic
exactly.
item? It's the principle of the matter.
So you can use any magic besides levitating. Sure.
Don't you argue with my conduct.
Yeah, I haven't been watching it for a while now. I've been a bit preoccupied
Sure,
with stuff.
with your partying.
That too, yeah, but that
So-
doesn't take that much time.
So who's your squeeze that we heard on the Skype phone several days ago, huh? Huh?
Nah, she's just a friend. Let's say that at least.
Oh, baby, you got what I need. You say just
I'm back, and I have looted. So
All right. So the rather simple stone structure, without any particular adornments, it gives way when you finally open the majestic stone doors to reveal a building of opulence. Of course, there is the gorgeous exterior. Excuse me, there's like the stony exterior, but whenever you open the door and step inside, this place looks far richer than advertised on the outside. You're currently in a wide circular, like a foyer, but is a rather large one. Small monuments with torches, and they do appear to be of an ever-burning quality. They do not emit heat, just light. A ring, these posts, columns that keep the roof up. There's also some small trees, some shrubbery here, which is alive and blooming. 2 tables, a rather majestic rug here that you can step on. 2 doors here, revealing what appears to be a much larger room with conversation and does appear to be dining going on in there. Alongside this wall here, opposite to, of course, the majestic circular room, 2 smaller wooden doors. There is a woman who appears to be standing guard. She is armored and armed with a great sword. And she will look towards the doors as they finally open and give you all a look, and then squint her eyes, and then frown deeply.
does Dwohurim recognize her?
Yeah, you'd recognize her.
Yeah.
One quick question. What the hell is a money
Yeah,
or money?
what is that thing?
And why can we see its stats?
Well, why wouldn't you be able to see its stats? It doesn't have anything to hide. Why are you judging it, man? You fucking shitlord?
Look at those shifty eyes.
I think that's
Yeah, that
That's
face.
trouble.
the general.
You know,
What?
funny fact, whenever I'm opening up my edit token thing, I'm getting a completely white box for whatever reason. That's weird. So I fixed the map, but now I get, like, white boxes appearing. There we go. Fixed it. The first thing you notice about it, this gentleman, is his finely chiseled features. His eyes, wide and unblinking, regard you with a glimmer of intelligence. His thick chin juts proudly beneath a pleasant smile. He's not tall, maybe 1.5 meters, but he's incredibly honed and shaped beneath a dress-to-kill suit that may cost more than you've made in your entire adventuring career. Come to think of it, the clothes and accessories are incredibly form-fitting, almost as if they're a second skin. And upon you noticing him, he notices you, and pushes himself off the wall, saying, "Welcome, welcome to the parlor of gilded comforts, where your desires of long far away Dragon Hall may be satisfied. I am Money, your guide here. How may I delight you?"
I suppose yes, hello. This is our first time here. We simply come to see what all the fuss is about. Take a look around.
No, of course. I can give you somewhat of an explanation of the features here. We have a number of delights that you may... hold on, the GM is having a... GM is trying to, like, sharp his words down to folks who don't use English as a first language whenever he uses a bunch of euphemisms. And I'm just going to chop that idea in half.
I think we get the point.
Money will then end up saying, "No, how about, well, what questions do you have about this fine establishment? It was created by the great Arnaud. He is the sole funding member of the Parlor of Gilded Comforts, created, a number of years ago. It is not important to know exactly when. You could check the records, I am sure, if you are interested in such academica. And a rather number of exotic beauties have been assembled here to allow those who have left behind Dragon Hall to come and remember a taste of home. Culinary delights, for this place also serves as a restaurant, hot bath, and some quiet relaxation, a number of books, sitting rooms. We do occasionally have shows." What are you interested in?
Sounds rather delightful. Well, would Arnaud be here himself? Does he live here?
The proprietor himself is here at this time. However, I am also his gatekeeper, if you will, and I do not recall individuals matching your description having netted an appointment with him. After all, it is your first time here.
How would we make an appointment?
Well, you would make that with me. Perhaps a name of sufficient stature to drop?
I am Dwohurim Harsca. Yes.
And these are your, what, guards, companions, siblings?
So, well, certainly not siblings. They are my
Siblings,
guards
yes.
and companions, yes.
The
We are
creature
rather
steps
equal
forward.
footing, as it happens.
Ah, equal footing, yes, I see. His eyes pass over each of you, and they come to rest upon this gentleman right here. Oh, you are quite a sight. A rare. Welcome to the Parlor of Gilded Comforts, Paladin.
Well, don't get any ideas now. I'm just here to guard him, and points to Dwohurim.
Oh, of course you are, of course you are. As I said, there are many things here that you may... I will give you a tour of some of the facilities if you are interested. But first, perhaps I should pass your name along. Celine, and the creature will turn around and look at the guard, who is still deeply frowning and glaring at Dwohurim and Leon. Could you perhaps spread the word that Dwohurim, Harsca, and company have arrived? See if that will trigger Arnaud's memory. Without saying anything, she will nod and step away.
It really looks bigger on the inside than it did from the outside. I'm rather impressed.
This building was designed to be cozy and to be discreet, so that individuals who do not wish others to know of their presence here can avoid judgmental gazes. We are not meant to judge, we are meant to please. And certainly there are sitting rooms and dining rooms and hot baths you do not have to partake in what some would call the worst of the gilded comforts.
Understandable. You said you would give us a little show around. Would appreciate that. While we're waiting for an old answer anyway.
I can certainly do so if you will follow me. The roughly Dwohurim-sized creature, although seemingly stronger, will lead the way. Passing through these doors leads you to a very grand dining hall with several tables at which are sitting numerous individuals, many of whom turn to look up and glance at you as you enter before resuming their polite and quiet conversations. Two gorgeous statues depicted here, along with several other columns, with casting their magnificent light. A nice fireplace here to add some warmth, additional shrubbery, and some small reading material over here. Perhaps for, like, the day's menu. Your guide will say, and this here, if you'll follow me a bit, please, a bit further away.
Sure, we'll try to take note of the people, recognizing perhaps the two Imperial explorers. But some of these people say patron, some don't.
Yes, the
is
patron
there a
thing
visible...
it would allow you to, like, you're able to visually identify, like, who would be a customer here, and those who do not say patron are those you imagine work here. That is what the patron label would end up meaning. Of course, the Imperial explorers, you wouldn't presume would be working here. Yes, adventurers as well. But yes, those who say patron, you can figure would end up being customers just by their body language and demeanor. Whereas those who don't have that label might work here.
Forgeborns and tieflings, huh? Well, that certainly isn't interesting. I mean,
Money will step here and say, well, this is our main hall area, dining. This is where many of our shows and plays take place, should we be hosting any of them, though none of those acts are taking place on this day. This actually ends up being one of the biggest attractions here, the ability to come here and sample cuisine that is left behind in Dragonhall. Many of those who've traveled to Dragonhall get a taste for the exotic nature of foods that the goblins and the ogres and bugbears and whatever other monstrosities, as the Dragon Empire labels them, exist, and wish to come sample and enjoy those foods again in a quiet, non-judgmental setting.
is the cook perhaps one of these sort of unusual types of people?
Money quirks his head. No, she is very much human.
Interesting.
Behind these doors, and Money will point, is our hot bathing area. Not exactly for a tour guide. Behind this door is the kitchen, where our chef is behind. Helen is, I don't even remember the menu today. She varies it so much. Here is a list of the menu things. Behind this door here is one of our sitting rooms that currently is occupied by a group. Just for, like, entertainment purposes. Behind this door is our reading room, where there are various manuscripts and texts from Dragonhall that may be of interest to travelers. We do happen to come across a number of books and other oddities in our courses of existence. That southern door there can lead to the backyard patio area, which I'm afraid is currently off limits, and as well lead to some of the bedrooms. Through the kitchen there, you can also get to the northern bedrooms.
So you have people stay here for rest, or...
This is not an inn, Dwohurim.
Oh, I see.
He looks at you with, like, calm, kind, non-judgmental eyes that do not blink.
So nods, just like, impressed by this establishment. It seems very well done. What sort of shows do you have?
Oh, ranging from the mild and sampling of different cultures and how they express themselves in art, to the more burlesque.
Who imagines how well Tempus would like it here?
At that moment, the door back here opens. Celine steps through. Money will look towards her, and Celine will actually make a come over motion. Money will then point to all of you and quirk his head, and Celine will nod. And Money says, "Oh, I suppose your name was sufficient after all. If you will follow me, please, Dwohurim, Harsca and company."
Of course.
The small Dwohurim-sized creature will lead the way past the tables into this door behind him.
He isn't particularly bald and pale, right?
No, he is not.
So just walking past these tables, Dragon Hall special delicacies. Does any of this seem like they would also serve certain kinds of meats that would usually be considered somewhat inappropriate for this kind of city?
Well, it's difficult to say just as you're walking past. Do you have a check the food at a glance as you walk past skill check?
Not exactly, no.
Are you perhaps a chef?
No.
Have you eaten human meat before?
I mean,
Probably.
there is certainly
She's a
meat
monster.
there is certainly meat on the table, but you could not say of what brand of meat it is.
Well, we can assume things.
You certainly can assume things.
It's probably not that bad, or we would have found Thurl to roll here.
Money will then lead you folks to the door, this way. Which actually does take you outside, or... Actually, no, that can't be possible. There's no external viewing area, so this has to be inside. Yet when you look up at the ceiling, and even this wall back here, it does appear to either be painted, or through some sort of illusion, actually appear to be that you're sitting outside. In fact, it's as if you can hear the sounds of the docks here, although very muted. And maybe some sounds if you're just sitting in a pleasant area with a slight wind breeze and some birds chirping. But it is definitely an enclosed area. A few tables and fountains, rather opulent and ostentatious, burbling their water, and sitting here at a far table, a bespectacled high elf is currently reading through a few documents. Master Arnaud, Dwohurim, Harsca and company for you. Will you be needing me to stay here? The high elf looks up and down and says, "No, Money, that will be good. Return to the main room." "Splendid, sir." Money will look at your group, "If you will allow me. Past you." The creature will step through and out of sight.
We will look curiously at Celine.
There is still a deep frown and glare on her face, but she remains silent.
He's kind of happy he doesn't have the sword anymore. That might just be that's kind of a sore point, I suppose.
Her greatsword that she currently possesses is most assuredly non-magical.
Yeah. Yeah, well... He knows where he can find it if she wants it back. But, he thinks maybe he can talk to her on the way out.
Well...
Maybe you might like to know about Ravinger,
Who am I to tell you your character what to think? The High Elf, who I have described in prior sessions, will, still looking up from his documents, begin to close and fold the scrolls and say, Ah, yes. Hello, hello. I thought as much that I would be receiving a visit, especially after Tempus Malleator decided to ever so graciously bumble into me at the winch and chain. How may I be of service to your honorary guardsmen?
So this is quite a fine establishment you have here. I understand once again that our names precede us.
Of some note, I am a rather busy businessman, and perhaps would not have known of your passage here were it not for Tempus. He was most revealing.
What did he say?
Well, not much, which, from his reputation, is very much like him, but his presence has connectors to some of you.
Well, I haven't seen him in a little while, but sure, I suppose he does. I've worked with him quite a bit.
He also wished
That's-
to engage in a bout of unarmed combat at the Winch and Chain a number of days ago. It was disappointing to see him not appear, considering how he approached me and was very interested in fighting.
Yes, that seems like him, although he's a rather unreliable sort, to be perfectly honest. He has disappeared on us more times than I can count. He's not here right now, for example.
All those with such connections are known as unreliable from time to time. Yes, but, as I queried, how may I be of assistance to you, honorary guardsman?
He also looks to the chair and says, may I?
He shrugs. Sure, if the rest of you so desire, you can drag chairs from the table to the south and bring them up here. Unless you prefer standing. Maybe sit on the fountain, too.
Down.
The high elf shrugs.
I'll stand.
Sure, let's sit on the fountain here. Gingerly sit down.
Hey, Arnaud will actually flick a smile over at the paladin and say,
Yes.
hello there. You know,
Aye.
we are interested in quite a few exotic types here at the Parlor of Gilded Comforts. Have you by chance spent any time within the city of Drakenhall?
That's not gonna happen.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
You look slightly amused.
You look back at
Considering that
Goger.
perhaps having a person working here might be good for information gathering.
It's not gonna happen.
Arnaud will turn to look at Dwohurim since Dwohurim appears to be the spokesman for the group of four.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate consequence of his ability to be loud-spoken without thinking much often.
The High Elf will fold his hands and wait patiently.
Look at him and say, I'm sure you have some idea of why we're here.
Enlighten me.
We are investigating the death of Thorold. What's that name?
Thorold. A merchant of some repute that has been in operation for longer in Newport than I have been. Yes, I, of course, as many have within the neighborhood, heard of his grisly death.
What do you know about it?
Only that it was a very sordid affair. I tried to put out feelers to see whether Little Dragonhall would be at harm, for perhaps a ghoul or ghast had escaped from the sewers. I was rebuffed. The guardsmen had been keeping quiet about this, I suppose.
I see. Well, as turns out, the murder was done by a woman named Domino. Drew will try to, all this time, try to see if he can read this man. Basically trying to name drop or try to make something surprise him a little bit in some way, or try to make some sort of indication in his face, make a tell basically that he would know more than he's saying.
All right, go ahead and have a roll secret then, with wisdom based, as you're attempting to lob these things to see whether you can actually read anything off of this high elf's face.
Yep.
Okay. Dwohurim can quickly realize that he's out of his league here. Like, he's intelligent enough to know that Arnaud, could be the most truthful individual, but if he is a trained individual and businessman who also runs a brothel, Dwohurim get internally, maybe a few voices inside, arguing with the dwarf, no, there's no fucking way you can read this guy.
In the back, Aurelia's voice, he's a spy.
He hopes Aurelia is better at it, because she's kind of the reading people person. Thomas is
Arnaud would say, I am unfamiliar with a Domino, although that is a rather absurd and roguish name.
She was known to have clients in this little dragon hall area. I was under the understanding that you're somewhat of a community figure.
A community figure? Well, some may be interested in the community of this. I do try to unite various individuals who have ties to Dragonhall together for some comfort, but it's really all about business. The purpose of business is to make money. And what's that all about, Sheep? You can't just, fucking throw dice at me without, explaining.
I didn't want to interrupt, but is he a spy?
You're making an is he a spy skill check?
No, I want to know one specific thing, which is, does he seem to indicate that he is recognizing Aurelia in any way, shape, or form? And also, is he telling, the truth? Is he reacting to things that would indicate basically what Dwohurim did?
Well, let's see here. What's that roll? It would be too challenging to say whether he, recognizes you. At least if he's looking at you, which he only has briefly, and his eyes are mostly on Dwohurim, for Dwohurim is the speaker. He hasn't shown any sign of alarm or oh fuck, oh shit, or there's been no flash of change in his face to denote that, hey, you're Aurelia. List your one unique thing here. This is what you do. In regards to Dwohurim's name dropping, though, Aurelia thinks that Arnaud is being deceitful in that, well, he does appear to have recognized the name of Domino, in that, well, you can confirm his honesty about having heard of Thurl Dural's murder, and that the guards were very quiet about the whole affair. Anyway, back to the conversation between Dwohurim and Arnaud. Arnaud having just given a reply in regard to not having heard of Domino, and he'll basically follow up with the fact that he's seen as a community figure, but the purpose of business is to make money, so that's what he's in it for.
And if I were to ask you if Little Dragon Hall has any sort of troublemakers in general, do you know of anyone who...
Considering the clientele revolves around Blue City, I imagine just about everyone who passes through here is a troublemaker in some form or fashion.
What do you know of what we've been doing here in Dragon Hall? Well, here in Newport.
It's not my business to be informed about the ongoings of people who are not my clients or a threat to my clients. Really, I wasn't that concerned at all until Tempus Malleator introduced himself to me.
What made you concerned about him?
Tempus being Tempus.
Trox, I suppose that is a decent answer. Or he's a little annoyed that he's avoiding a lot of the questions.
I am not interested in thieves prowling about me, and those affiliated with the Prince of Shadows tend to leave a lot of broken hearts in their wake, and I'm not talking about romance.